In this video, I'm going to show you how to install the R9MLite Pro external long range module into your Xlite or Xlite Pro radio. Alright, so the first thing that I'm going to do is pop the SD card from my Xlite Pro into a USB port on my computer so that I can open up the folder here. You can see Xlite Pro SD. So I have that open, and I have the SD card contents and the latest version of OpenTX flashed to my Xlite Pro. So this firmware folder, this is what we're going to focus on. This is what we're going to extract these firmwares to. So we're going to start out here on the home page. We're going to go to Modules, and we have the R9M Lite Pro. So we're going to click on that. Now we already have OpenTX flashed to our Xlite Pro, the latest version of OpenTX, and the SD card contents on the XD card. So that's very important. So now we're just going to plug the R9M Lite Pro right into the Xlite Pro, and we'll be able to flash the external module. So we're going to go to Access Firmware. We're going to download. So version 1.3.0. That's the latest for the R9M Lite Pro. Now we're going to go all the way back to the main page. Now we're going to be pairing this with an R9MX receiver, and the R9MX receiver is what's replacing the R9MM receivers. It's the new one that you want access, OTA, redundancy. So we're going to go right to that, which is right here. So the R9MX, this is what is replacing the R9MM or R9 Mini. We're going to go to the download page. Access firmware version 1.3.2. This is the first release, so we're going to nab that one. So now we're going to, we're in the US, so I'm just going to grab the FCC version. Now you don't have to take all of these. You can take the Flex if you want, but there's no need to. Flex and FCC are actually the exact same thing. It's just adhering to your country's code by using the LBT or EU version. And the Flex lets you use either. You can actually select which one you want to use if you're traveling from the US to Europe or something like that. I'm in the US, so I'm just going to take the FCC R9M Lite Pro module firmware, and I'm going to extract that. Whoops, wrong one here. Right to the Xlite Pro SD card into the firmware folder. And see, I've already done that, so I'm just going to say yes. Now we're going to open the R9MX and do the exact same thing. I'm just going to take the FCC version. We're going to extract that. Same thing right there. Yes. So now the R9M Lite Pro module and the MX firmwares are right here. So now we'll be able to flash over on the radio, take care of everything from there. While I'm at it, I actually have an R9MM access version that I need to flash as well, so I'm going to grab that while we're here. A lot of you might still have the R9MM, and this is something that's going to come up. Now, if you're on ACCST, the D16 protocol, and you don't have an access-capable transmitter, the R9MM is the receiver that you want. You'll be able to flash that back to ACCST protocol and use that on ACCST. The R9MX, you will not be able to use ACCST. It doesn't have the hardware. It's access only. There's actually no firmware available for it for ACCST. So we're going to go to receivers. I'm going to go to download page. Do the same thing. Now I'm going to put access on this. Now you see there's ACCST firmware available. So if you are running ACCST, like on my old X90 Plus and R9M ACCST module, you would want to get this and make sure this version number here matches. But we have access, so we're going to take version 1.3.1, and we're going to nab that one. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to extract it to that firmwares folder on the SD card. So now on that radio, I'll be able to flash any R9M OTA access and any R9MX. I'll buy it one day. So FCC version, we're going to extract that to the Xlite Pro firmware folder. And that's really all there is to it as far as on the computer. So now we're going to go ahead back to the desktop. We're back in this firmware folder here. You can see the R9M Lite Pro module FCC, R9 Mini OTA FCC, and R9MX FCC. Now we're ready to do everything on the radio, so we're going to start by putting the SD card into the SD card slot on the bottom above the charge port. Then we're going to go to the back of the radio and install the R9MLite Pro module into the external radio bay. Now we're going to turn the radio on and navigate to the firmware folder where we saved all the firmwares. We're going to select the R9MLite Pro firmware and flash to external module. Once it's successfully flashed, we're ready to go in and set up each model individually to use the R9MLite Pro module. Now we're going to go to our model settings and set up the MLite Pro. We're going to go all the way down to internal module, and we're going to make sure that's set to off. Now we're going to go down to the external module, which is our R9MLite Pro, and we're going to select that mode. You can see it says R9MLP access. Now we're ready to register and bind our receivers. I'm also going to go ahead and set the failsafe to no pulses. And then you can go in here into the module options and set the power output. I set mine to 500. So that's all you have to do. Now you're ready to use your R9MLite Pro system and pair it with your favorite free